The diplomatic summit on Frost Haven Station was supposed to be routine. I was just a junior liaison officer, there to manage logistics and keep the coffee flowing. Nobody told me I'd end up in the middle of an interstellar incident because of a moment of clumsiness. The Kyrosian delegation had arrived earlier that morning, their crystalline ship docking with barely a whisper of sound. I'd heard stories about them, a species of ice dwellers from a planet perpetually locked in winter, their bodies adapted to temperatures that would kill a human in minutes. They were beautiful in an otherworldly way, with skin that shimmered like fresh snow under moonlight and hair that seemed to capture and refract light in impossible ways. Princess Celara was the head of their delegation, and from the moment she stepped off the ship, the entire station held its breath. She moved with the grace of falling snow, her pale blue skin almost luminescent, her silver-white hair flowing past her shoulders like a frozen waterfall. Her eyes were the color of deep ice, that impossible shade between blue and white that you only see in the heart of a glacier. I was carrying a stack of data pads when it happened. Someone had spilled something in the corridor. I never found out what, and my boot caught the edge of the slick spot. I stumbled forward, arms windmilling, data pads flying everywhere. In my desperate attempt to regain balance, my hand shot out and grabbed the nearest solid object, which happened to be Princess Celera's wrist. The moment my fingers made contact with her skin, several things happened at once. First, a jolt of cold shot up my arm like I'd grabbed a live wire made of ice. Second, every Kyrosian in the hallway froze, literally and figuratively. Third, the princess herself went absolutely still, her glacier eyes widening in what I could only describe as shock. I yanked my hand back as if I'd been burned. "I'm so sorry, Your Highness. I didn't mean to. The floor was. I lost my balance." The Kyrosian guards had already moved, forming a protective circle around their princess. One of them, a tall male with skin like polished ice, spoke in their musical language, his tone clearly demanding answers. But Princess Celara held up one delicate hand, silencing him. She was staring at me with an expression I couldn't quite read. Not anger exactly, not disgust. Something else entirely. "You touched me," she said softly, her accent making the words sound like wind chimes in a winter breeze. "I know, and I'm deeply sorry. It was an accident, I swear. I'll accept whatever diplomatic consequences. No human has ever touched a member of the Kyrosian royal family," she continued as if I hadn't spoken. "Our skin temperature is lethal to your species, yet you grabbed my wrist with your bare hand and held on for 3 full seconds." I blinked. "I did. Most humans who make contact with us suffer immediate frostbite. Some lose fingers. You show no signs of injury whatsoever." She tilted her head, studying me like I was a particularly interesting specimen. "Fascinating." The head guard said something else in their language, more insistent this time. Princess Celara responded without taking her eyes off me, her tone calm but authoritative. The guard didn't look happy, but he stepped back. "What is your name, human?" she asked. "Liaison Officer Marcus Chen, Your Highness." "Again, I apologize for—" "Tonight," she interrupted, her voice taking on a different quality, something almost playful, though her expression remained as cool as ever. "There is a reception, a formal dinner for the delegations." She paused, and I could swear I saw the hint of a smile on her lips. "Dress up and meet me, human. We have much to discuss." Then she turned and glided away, her entourage following like snowflakes in her wake, leaving me standing alone in the corridor surrounded by scattered data pads and complete confusion. My roommate found me 2 hours later, still standing in front of my closet in my underwear, paralyzed by indecision. "Dude, what's wrong with you?" Jake asked, tossing his jacket on his bunk. "You look like someone told you Earth was canceled." "The Kyrosian princess told me to dress up and meet her at the reception tonight," I said numbly. "What does that even mean? Dress up how? Formal? Traditional? What's traditional for a human meeting an ice princess?" Jake's eyes went wide. "Wait, back up. Why are you meeting Princess Celara?" I explained the incident in the hallway, watching Jake's expression shift from confusion to disbelief to something approaching awe. "Let me get this straight," he said slowly. "You grabbed her with your bare hand, didn't get frostbite, and now she wants to see you at a formal reception. Marcus, do you have any idea how weird this is?" "Of course I know how weird it is. That's why I can't figure out what to wear." Jake moved to my closet, pushing hangers aside with purpose. "Okay, here's what we're going to do. You're going to wear your dress uniform, the one with the actual medals and commendations. Make it clear you're not just some random guy who stumbled into her. Show her you're someone worth the diplomatic incident you just caused." He was right. I pulled out my formal liaison uniform, the deep blue fabric with silver trim that I'd worn exactly twice since graduating from the academy. The medals felt heavier than I remembered. 2 hours later, I stood outside the reception hall, my heart hammering against my ribs. Through the transparent doors, I could see the gathering inside, dozens of species mingling, the air filled with the translation device's soft hum. And there, near the center of the room, surrounded by admirers and diplomats, was Princess Celara. She wore a gown that looked like it had been woven from moonlight and frost, the fabric somehow both solid and ethereal. Her silver hair was arranged in an intricate style I couldn't begin to understand, adorned with what appeared to be actual ice crystals that never melted. When she turned her head, scanning the room, her eyes found mine through the transparent door with unsettling precision. The slightest inclination of her head, an invitation. I took a breath and stepped inside. The reception was a careful dance of diplomacy, with delegations from a dozen worlds engaged in the delicate art of conversation without commitment. I navigated through the crowd, acutely aware of the curious glances following me. Word had apparently spread about the incident. Princess Celara was speaking with the Terran ambassador when I approached, maintaining a respectful distance. She finished her sentence, smiled politely at the ambassador, then turned to face me fully. "Liaison Officer Chen," she said, and somehow my name and her accent sounded like poetry. "You came. You commanded it, Your Highness." "I did no such thing, I merely suggested." That hint of a smile again. "Walk with me." She didn't wait for a response, simply began moving toward the observation deck that adjoined the reception hall. I followed, hyper-aware of every eye in the room tracking our movement. The guard from earlier shadowed us at a discreet distance, his expression suggesting he'd rather be anywhere else. The observation deck offered a stunning view of the nebula beyond Frost Haven Station, swirls of cosmic color painting the darkness. Princess Celara stopped at the transparent wall, her reflection ghostly against the starfield. "Do you know why I asked you here?" she said without turning. "To discuss the diplomatic implications of my accidental contact." "No." She finally looked at me, and in the nebula's light, her eyes seemed to hold entire galaxies. I asked you here because in 300 years of Kyrosian-human relations, you are the first of your kind to touch one of us and show no injury. I wanted to understand why. I don't know why, Your Highness. I'm not special, just clumsy. Yet you held my wrist for 3 seconds, long enough for severe damage. Your medical records show no anomalies, no genetic modifications, no special resistances. She took a step closer, and I felt the temperature drop around her like she carried her own personal winter. Which means something else is at play. Like what? Intent, perhaps, desperation, the will to survive. Another step. She was close enough now that I could see the intricate patterns in her skin like frost on a window, or perhaps something more fundamental, a compatibility that shouldn't exist. My breath formed mist in the air between us. Your Highness, I'm not sure I understand. Neither am I, Marcus Chen. She used my first name, dropping the formality, and it sent a shiver through me that had nothing to do with cold. But I intend to find out. My people believe in fate, in the threads of destiny that connect us across the stars. Perhaps our meeting was no accident. You don't believe that, do you? Her laugh was like ice breaking on a spring river, unexpected and beautiful. I am a scientist as well as a princess. I believe in evidence and experimentation. She held out her hand, palm up, a challenge. Touch me again, deliberately this time. Let us see what happens. I stared at her offered hand, the guard behind us tensed, ready to intervene. The entire observation deck seemed to hold its breath. Are you sure? I never say things I don't mean. Slowly, carefully, I reached out and placed my hand over hers. The cold was immediate and intense, but not painful. It was like plunging into a winter lake, that shock of temperature that makes every nerve ending wake up and pay attention. Her skin was smooth as glass, and I could feel something beneath it, not warmth exactly, but energy. A vibration, a frequency that hummed against my palm. Princess Celera's eyes widened. You feel it? Yes, the resonance, the frequency match. She turned her hand over, lacing her fingers with mine. The cold intensified, but still no pain, no numbness. Just this strange electric connection. Impossible, and yet here we are. She looked up at me, and for the first time since we'd met, the cool mask of royal composure cracked. I saw wonder there and curiosity and something that might have been hope. My people have a saying, she said softly. When winter meets fire, neither burns nor freezes, but something new is born. I always thought it was just poetry. Her fingers tightened around mine. Perhaps I was wrong. Behind us, the guard cleared his throat, a diplomatic reminder that we were still in a semi-public space, still representing our respective worlds. Princess Celera released my hand slowly, reluctantly. We will meet again, Marcus Chen, officially for scientific study, unofficially. That smile, fuller now, transforming her face from beautiful to breathtaking. Because I wish to know you better, the human who can touch winter and survive. I'd like that, Your Highness. Celera. When we are alone, call me Celera. She turned to leave, her guard falling into step beside her. At the door, she paused and looked back. Next time, human, I will dress up for you. Then she was gone, leaving me standing alone on the observation deck, my hand still tingling with cold and possibility, staring at the stars and wondering what impossible thing had just begun.